Hey everybody, it's Michelle Glover with Batter and Bold Bakery. Today I wanted to give you guys some quick tips and tricks on storing cakes that you've already made in advance that you want to prepare to sell to your customers, or you've already received pre-orders so you can make your cakes in advance. And what we want to discuss today is how you store, how you wrap and properly wrap your cakes, and how you store them. So what I have in front of me now is a strawberry pound cake. And if you're like me, you make a lot of these during the holidays, whether it's strawberry, peach, lemon, key lime, red velvet, whatever. And for the most part, with the exception of red velvets or chocolates or things that are noticeably different, all of your pound cakes are gonna kind of come out looking like this. And what I have in front of me right now, like I said, is a strawberry pound cake, and it is already frozen. What I wanted to show you today was how I properly keep up with what the flavors of the pound cakes are, how I wrap them, and how I store them in the freezer until it's time for delivery or time to ship. So before we get started, I want to start with just the very essentials that I need in order to do this. And one is a large Reynolds Food Service Reynolds wrap. It's kind of down in here, I've been using it, but it's the typical wrap here. If you can see that, you need to buy these. You can get them from any restaurant store or Webstaurant online. You can also get them from Uline, I believe, as well. You need a form of aluminum foil, very simple, you can get it out of the grocery store. You need a Sharpie pen, very simple, can get it out of your kid's box probably. You don't have to have big, large equipment. Of course, I do have a shrink wrap machine. Uline sells them. It's a very wonderful tool. It helps me. It seals food so very well. But you don't have to have that in order to store scores of cakes and still deliver a fresh, loving taste that your customer is going to love. Now, if you were like me, I was a firm believer that freezing destroyed the taste, it destroyed the freshness, it destroyed all things that would make this beautiful cake good. But once I learned the techniques of how to properly freeze it, how to store it, and the extended life that is on your cakes, you'll be able to do this with ease. And it makes it easier when you're trying to, again, I may bake 30 or 40 of these during the holidays, and I need to be able to pull out, get it dressed really pretty, you know, package it well and get it to my customer. So if you can make these in advance and store them properly, it'll do you good. So let me start by saying, when this cake comes out of the oven with your regular pound cake recipe, you would flip it out, right? So the first thing I have here, and I'm going to separate my cake, it's still frozen, are these wonderful cardboard boxes. You can find these at Michael's, you can find them at Hobby Lobby, you can also find them at Webstaurant.com. What I do, because so many of my cakes look just like this and they're different flavors, the first thing I do is label it. So this one has straw on the back of it. That's an indicator to me that this is a strawberry cake, so I know what I'm dealing with ultimately. After the cake cools for about an hour and a half, I stick it in the freezer just like this. No covering, no anything. And I let it stay in the freezer for about 45 minutes to an hour. That is just to seal in the freshness, seal in your butters, your extracts, and it makes it easier to manage and handle when you need to wrap it. So the next thing I do, and I'm gonna kind of put this over here to the side so you all can see. Because the cake is frozen, I can handle it better. So I just pull my wrap out. We kind of start, I have a fan blowing over here because I am hot. So what you're gonna do is kind of stretch it over your cake, tuck it under the bottom, and wrap it over. And wrap it over, and wrap it over. Then you can turn it sideways and wrap it. Come on, I don't want to drop it. There we go. And wrap it on your sides. same thing. And it's so easy for me to handle it because the cake is already frozen. So what I do then is just kind of straighten out your wrapping, but I may do this a couple of times, and then tear it off. And you just wrap it. Seal it really tight. And there you have it. It's wrapped tight. It's wrapped at the bottom. You can see, you can't see it now, but if you can see it up close, you can still tell what flavor of the cake is, which is strawberry. You can put this in the freezer and it can stay frozen up to 9 months. 9 months. You can freeze it just like this. And again, for real estate purposes, because it's already frozen, you can stack 3 or 4 of these on top of each other and they're not going to crumble because they've already been frozen solid. This helps you, number one, with your real estate in your freezer to be able to freeze as many of these as you can, but also so that you can stack them and have an overabundance of inventory so that you can get these cakes turned back out. So what I would do then is just put this in the freezer and let it stay until you're ready for it to come out. The other thing, once it comes out, and you need to prepare it for a customer. Again, this is a strawberry cake. What I would do is take it straight out the freezer and take the wrapping off and allow it to sit on your counter to room temperature. It will probably take about 3 hours for the cake, maybe a little longer, to get unthawed. So I say if you're doing this for a customer that needs the cake, let's just say by 5 o'clock that day, I personally would probably pull it out about 10 in the morning. Allow it to get up to room temperature, and you'll see it will be just as fresh, just as soft as the day that you made it. And then you dress it, put your glaze on it, put your your fruit, your decorations, whatever you're going to put on it, and then put it in your cake domes, your cake plates, and deliver it to your customer. And it is as good as gold. This is foolproof. It works for storing in freezers. It also works for shipping as well. Again, you don't have to have fancy equipment to get this done, but what you need are basic essentials in your kitchen, and you can store it properly, and I guarantee you your cakes will come out just fine. I hope this helps with your pound cakes, and we'll come back and talk about layer cakes soon. Thank you.